morning to everyone present here. In the previous classes, you all have learnt about how to calculate salary income, house property, business or profession, capital gains, other sources. After learning all the 5 heads of income, it is the responsibility of the citizen to pay tax to the government correctly. So now we are at the end of the match that we all should calculate our gross total income and net income, and finally how much is the tax payable to the government. Now in this category, we must know certain important terms, that is what is tax, what is surcharge, what is cess, what do you mean by gross total income, what are the deductions under section 80C, after the deduction, how to calculate net income or taxable income or total income, and finally what are the different tax rates applicable to different kinds of citizens. Now the first one is tax. Tax is a compulsory payment to the government when our income crosses the basic exemption. So it is a fees charged by a government on product or income or activity. If the tax is levied directly on personal or corporate income, it is called direct tax. That is, income is imposed and collected from the same person. It is called a direct tax. And if the tax is levied on the price of a good or service, then it is called an indirect tax. Indirect tax means we are not knowing whether we have paid the tax or not. Psychologically, the taxpayer doesn't know that he paid the tax. That is indirect tax, because tax is imposed on one person and collected from other person. The purpose of taxation is to finance the government expenditure. In order to run the government collects from the public, and the people, those who are crossing the basic exemption limit, they have to pay the tax to the government. So here the next term we got to learn is surcharge. Surcharge is the additional burden to the tax being already levied. So it is the tax on certain percentage of tax on the tax we have to pay already. So generally it is levied for certain period of time, and the rate also differs from time to time. Next important term is surcharge, which is an additional tax paid by the taxpayers. It is the additional burden to the tax being already levied. Generally, surcharge is levied for a certain period of time. The rate of surcharge differs from time to time. Next important term is cess. Cess refers to the tax on tax levied by the government for a specific purpose. There is a difference between tax and cess. Tax is collected by the government and can be utilized for general purposes. When we use the word cess, it is meant for specific purpose. For example, at present, the taxpayers have to pay education cess of 3% to finance the basic education in the countries. That is, the cess collected will be utilized only for the purpose of education. The tax is not the new concept. It is a very old concept, because we have paid tax from the period of Mughal Empire, like that. We have some historical evidences for payment of tax. It is a very old concept where we have paid tax to the king of the particular kingdom. The next important term we got to learn is gross total income. Already you are all familiar. I hope that you know the meaning of gross total income, yes? So gross total income means the summary of all the 5 heads. It is nothing but the summary of all the 5 heads. That is income from salary, house property, the income from business or profession, capital gains, other sources. When all the 5 heads are totaled together, it is called gross. It is nothing but summary of 5 heads of income. After computing gross total income, after the computation of gross total income, we have to calculate the net income. Net income means the taxable income. Taxable income is after the deduction under section 80C. If the assessee is eligible to claim any deduction under section 80, we can have the deduction from the gross total income, and the result is known as net income. Deductions are available from section 80C to 80U. Here we are going to concentrate only deduction under section 80C. Deduction under section 80C is regarding the savings and investments. That is, mainly savings means government encourages the habit of saving by way of giving some deductions through LIC and other deposits. It is mainly applicable to individual and Hindu undivided family. This deduction under section 80C is not applicable to partnership firm, company, etc. Only the individual and HUF have the privilege to claim deduction under section 80C. Now in this assessment year 2015-16, the quantum of deduction is up to 1,50,000. It means that from my gross total income, if I have saved through LIC or some other deposits, I can have the deduction to the maximum of 1,50,000. If my deposit exceeds 1,50,000, I can have the deduction only up to 1,50,000, not more than that. If my savings amounts to 80,000, I can have the deduction of 80,000. For example, you know that gross total income means it is the total of all the 5 heads. Suppose my gross total income is 4 lakhs. If I am eligible to have deduction under section 80C to the extent of 1 lakh, my net income will be 3 lakhs. Net income is otherwise known as taxable income or total income. So, if there is no savings under section 80C, I have to pay tax on 4 lakh rupees. If I have some deduction, if I am eligible to have deduction under section 80C, I have to pay tax on only 3 lakhs rupees. Now you are able to understand how we are going to apply this. Now let us go through the payments and deposits which are eligible to have deduction under section 80C. The first one is life insurance premium paid on the life of self, spouse, his or her child. That means if Mr. X is the assessee, means if he pays LIC premium on his life and Mrs. X and his children, that is eligible. Any LIC premium paid in the life of brother, sister or mother-in-law, father-in-law, grandparents, that is not eligible. To get the deduction under section 80C, the life insurance premiums should have been paid on the life of the assessee, that is life of self, spouse, either husband or wife, or his or her child. If I am going to have deduction under section 80C, I can have the LIC premium paid on my life, my husband, my child, like that. The next one is any contribution towards provident fund. That is public provident fund, recognized provident fund or superannuation fund. If I have made any contribution or any deposit towards these things, that also can be claimed under section 80C. And next one is any deposits in the units of UTI units and LIC mutual fund. In such case also, I am eligible to have deduction under section 80C. And next one is any tuition fees paid at the time of admission or thereafter to any university, college, school or other educational institutions situated within India. If I have paid any tuition fees for my children, I am eligible to deduct under section 80C. That is also to the maximum of 2 children. And next one is repayment of housing loan taken from bank, cooperative banks, government. I am eligible to have the deduction under section 80C. So it is better to borrow funds and construct house instead of using our own funds. Are you able to understand this? And next one is any payment of stamp duty, registration fee and other expenses for purpose of transfer of house property. And if I have deposited NSC, that is National Savings Certificates, that is one of the saving scheme in the post office, that also eligible under 80C. So I am deposit in 5-year post office time deposit account and deposit in senior citizen savings scheme, and finally deposit in Sukanya Samriddhi account. That is the scheme introduced by our Prime Minister Modi, latest concept it is. Okay, out of these 15 payments, if I have made any deposits towards any of the thing, if I am able to provide evidences for that, I can very well have the deduction from my gross total income. If I am not able to produce any documentary evidences, I cannot claim. So if I have to claim deduction under 80C, for the payment towards these things, we have to submit documentary evidences and then we can claim deduction to the maximum of 1,50,000. Next, let us go through the different types of tax rates and rebates available. All those things we can go through. Now let us discuss the tax rates which is applicable to say individual. Now for the assessment year 2015-16, we have 3 types of assessees, that is 3 categories. The first one is the senior citizen. Senior citizen means those who are in between the age of 60 and 80. So those who have crossed 60 years and below 80 years, they are coming under the first category. And second category is super senior citizen. They are that is super senior citizen means the assessees who have crossed the age of 80 during the relevant previous year. And those who are not coming under these two categories will be classified into the category of other individuals. That is almost all the persons, those who are less than 60 years will be coming to the third category. So there are three categories of assessees for the purpose of calculation of tax. Before the calculation of tax, we must go through the problem and we must find out which category they are. Whether if there is any clue about the age of the assessee, we should go accordingly. For example, from the date of birth or the age completed, if it is given in the problem, definitely you will be able to assess whether he is coming in the category 1 or 2. If we have no clue about category 1 and 2, we can come to the conclusion that they are coming under the third category. So definitely you should go through the problem fully before the calculation of tax. And after the meticulous calculation of gross total income, deductions, net income, now this is very important to calculate the tax, how much is payable to the government. So for the payment of tax, the tax rates applicable to the particular category should be selected. If there is any mistake in this, the tax calculated will be wrong. So we have to be very careful. Now let us go to the first category. The first category is applicable to senior citizen. Senior citizen means the resident who have completed the age of 60 and less than the age of 80. For them, the basic exemption is 3 lakh rupees. It means that if their income is 1 lakh rupees, they need not pay tax. If their income is 2 lakh rupees, they need not pay tax. If the income is 3 lakh, no need to pay tax. If the income exceeds 3 lakh rupees, if the income is 3 lakh and 1 rupee, for that 1 rupee they go to pay tax. So up to first 3 lakh rupees, there is no tax payable by them. And then if the income crosses 3 lakh rupees, the income which crosses 3 lakh rupees and up to 5 lakh, suppose the income is 4 lakh 50,000 means, for the next 1 lakh 50,000, they have to pay tax of 10%. In this problem, the net income is 3 lakh, the example I have given. So there is no tax payable here. Suppose if the gross total income is 6 lakh. Now, let us assume that the name of the assessee is Mr. M and the age of 62 years. His net income is 5 lakh rupees. So when we are going to calculate the tax for him, according to the tax rates, up to first 3 lakh rupees. As per the tax rates, the next 2 lakhs, that is the income between 3 lakh and 5 lakh. The next 2 lakh rupees, the tax payable will be 10% on this. So 2 lakh into 10%, 20,000. So 20,000 is the tax payable by him. So after this 20,000 rupees, after having calculated the tax, we have to go through surcharge and other things. This is a simple calculation. If you are not able to get the income of any person, you can ask them what is the tax payable by them. What is the tax they have paid. Approximately, if you are the expert, definitely you will be able to come to a conclusion that what is their income. So this is one simple example I have given. After this, we have to add the education cess. As I told already, cess means for a specific purpose levied by the government. So at present, we have to pay education cess at the rate of 3%. So after this tax, on this 20,000, we have to add 3% education cess. Add education cess 3%. 3% is to be calculated. So it amounts to 600 rupees. So with the tax payable by them is 20,600. So as I told earlier, cess is the additional payment of tax. After having calculated the tax, we are paying tax on tax. This is the first category. I have given a simple example. Now let me go to the second category. That is for the age group of the people, those who have crossed 80 years. For them, the government is giving the privilege as they are seniors. Up to 5 lakh, the income is exempted. So if you are going to start a business, you can start in the name of a person in your family who has those who have crossed 80 years. So we are giving the privilege to them. So up to first 5 lakh, they need not pay tax. Next, income between 5 lakh to 10 lakh rupees. For the 5 lakh rupees, they have to pay 20%, higher rate only. And then the income exceeds 10 lakh rupees, they have to pay. And for other individuals, you must be very clear who are all coming under the category of other individuals. Definitely you will know that the first category means it's 60 years to 80 years. Second category means more than 80 years. Automatically, the people less than 60 years will be coming to the third category. That will be the more number of population. So for them, the government has given only up to 2,50,000. Suppose we all have to get the exemption only up to 2,50,000. And next 2,50,000, 10%. Next 2,50,000, 20%. And the income exceeds 7,50,000. Definitely, 30% tax is to be levied. Rebate of income tax and payment. What is meant by rebate? So rebate is nothing but a reduction given legally. That is, an individual resident whose total income does not exceed 5 lakhs. It means the income is up to 5 lakh rupees. They are eligible to have a deduction up to 2,000 rupees after the tax is calculated. So after the calculation of tax, they are able to get a rebate of 2,000 rupees if the income is up to 5 lakh rupees. Income here means the taxable income, the net income. Surcharge. Surcharge is levied at 10% if the total income exceeds 1 crore. So normally it is not applicable to individuals. So if the total income exceeds 1 crore, only then surcharge is levied, otherwise there is no surcharge. Education cess, totally it is 3%, which is having two component of 2% for secondary and higher education and at 1% for basic education, like that. So for the calculation purpose, we will have education cess 3%. See the first problem we have. Find out the tax payable by Mr. A if his income, taxable income for the assessment year is 5,78,000. Now after having given the problem, you must be able to identify whether he is coming under category 1 or category 2 or category 3. Category 1 means those who are in between 60 years and 80 years. Category 2 means more than 80 years. All other individuals are coming under third category. Now in this problem, there is no clue about the age of the assessee. So we can take the third category. So according to the third category, you know that first 2,50,000 there is no tax. Next 2,50,000 at 10% we go to pay tax. So at 10% means automatically it comes to 25,000. For the next 2,50,000, since the total income is 5,78,000, first 2,50,000, no tax is there. Next, in between 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs, we have to calculate 10%, that is 25,000. Next, when it exceeds 5 lakh, up to 5 lakh to 5,78,000, you have 78,000 rupees. So for the 78,000, 20%. It comes to 15,600. Now the tax payable by the assessee amounts to 40,600. After having calculated the tax, we must see whether surcharge is applicable. I told you earlier that surcharge is the additional tax burden. Now you know very well that surcharge is applicable only if the income exceeds, only if the taxable income exceeds 1 crore. So here there is no surcharge. So nil. After this, we got to add education cess 3%. So on 40,600, we have to calculate 3%, which amounts to 1,218. Finally, the tax payable 41,818. As per the data, the assessee's income is 5,78,000. He has paid 41,818 as the tax. So from the tax liability, we can arrive some income to some extent possible. So this is clear to you. Now let us go to the next problem, which is related to the assessee, the age of 67 years. So definitely now you will be able to identify that he is coming under the category of 60 and 80. That is, the assessee is having the age group of 60 years and 80 years. The income I have given is 5,87,000. The income means here it is taxable income. Taxable income means after the deduction. According to this category, he is having the basic exemption up to 3 lakh rupees. That means he need not pay tax for the first 3 lakh rupees. So out of 5,87,000, first 3 lakh rupees is exempt from tax. The net income as per the data 5,87,000. So up to first 3 lakh rupees, that is he need not pay tax for first 3 lakh rupees. So tax payable is made for the first 3 lakh rupees. And next one, for the next 3 lakh, that is in between 3 lakh rupees to 5 lakh rupees, we got to pay 10%. The total income is 5,87,000. So for the third slab, it will be 5 lakh to, in between we have 2 lakh rupees. On 2 lakh rupees, 10%. What is the amount? Yes, 20,000. 5,87,000. The rate applicable here is 20%. So on this 87,000 in between, 20% is to be calculated, which is 17,400. The tax amounts to 37,400. Now tell me, what is the rate of surcharge applicable? What is the rate of surcharge applicable? Whether is it applicable? No. Because surcharge is applicable only if the income exceeds 1 crore. So here there is no surcharge. Now again the tax is 37,400. Next we have to add education cess. What is the rate of education cess? Anybody can you tell me? Education cess, that is 3%. The 3% is to be calculated on 37,400. So it amounts to 1,122. Tax payable is 38,522. This is the tax payable. So in this problem, the taxable income is 5,87,000. The age of the assessee is 67 years. So he's for this category, the basic exemption is 3 lakh rupees. First 3 lakh rupees, no taxes payable. Next 2 lakh rupees, 10%, that is 20,000. Next 87,000 comes to the slab of 20%, that is 17,400. The tax payable amounts to 37,400. After adding the education cess 3%, the tax liability is 38,520. Now let us move on to the next problem, where the assessee is having the income of 3,28,100. That is, see the third problem I have given. Mr. Shankar, who is 70 years old, has earned an income of 3,28,100. What is the tax payable? So his age is 70 years. So he also, first 3 lakh rupees, there is no tax. Next 28,100, he has to pay tax. Net income is 3,28,100. The age of the assessee is 70 years. So first 3 lakh rupees, up to 3 lakh rupees, he need not pay tax. For next 28,100, 10% is payable, that is 2,810 rupees. Now the tax amounts to 2,810 rupees. Assessee having income of less than 5 lakhs is eligible for rebate. So rebate of 2,000, tax rebate of 2,000. After that, the tax amounts to 810 rupees. After which surcharge here is not applicable. Again it becomes 810. Finally, we have to add education cess 3%, that is 34 rupees. So it comes to 834 rupees. This is the tax liability. So girls, you should be very careful about the selection of category, whether he is coming under category 1, 2 or 3, because the tax rates are different. And then tax rebate also we have to be very careful in the tax rebate we are giving, which is in this problem we may able to understand that the income of 3,28,100 only the taxable income. Since the income is less than 5 lakh, he is eligible to have a claim of 2,000 rupees after calculating the tax. So which is the privilege. So those who are having the lower income, they are given the privilege by the government. So after the tax liability of 2,810, he is getting the tax rebate of 2,000. Only 810 rupees is payable by him. After that, we are adding education cess 3%, that is 24 rupees. Totally the tax liability comes to 834 rupees.